Hi, folks. This is Mountain Man coming to you from parts unknown. I hope everyone's doing well tonight. I am, once again, broadcasting exclusively on YouTube. I'll have to do some uploads to Rumble, and my apologies to the folks at Rumble. But I gotta do what I gotta do. We got a big storm coming. Dan Scarino put up a post about it. We're gonna go over that. Is it just a big winter storm? If you have elderly neighbors, make sure you check on them. And we have many other things going on. I didn't have enough room in my thumbnail for all the things going on. Subpoenas flying, being served, people being arrested, warrants being issued, grand juries are impaneled, testimonies being given under oath, and a lot of things are happening. It is happening. You know what I'm talking about, folks. So anyway, what do? I play videos while people come in to the chats and settle in, get themselves a cup of coffee or a cold bruja or a adult libation of their choice, or maybe even just a glass of milk, whatever you'd like. And then I will play my videos and we'll be like butter and do what? Get on a roll.
Corral Vladimir Putin of Ukraine, and there's no in between. And that reminds me a lot of, you're either a white supremacist or you go with the Democrat narrative on everything under the sun.
The most lethal terrorist threat to the home.
I want to understand white rage, and I'm white.
I mean, there's as much get to Hunter Biden, Nancy Pelosi, John Kerry, Mitt Romney, and all of their children who earn millions from Ukrainian gas companies. These days, it's hard to believe anything because they've lied about COVID, they lied about Russia collusion, they lied about the Ukraine impeachment trial, and there's so much more going on in Ukraine that nobody is talking about.
Does Ukraine have chemical or biological weapons?
My job as a journalist is to try to understand what is the truth here. I don't like being lied to, and we're being lied. You have to be 100% with Zelensky. Slava Ukraine. The puppets who you can find on the internet in black stilettos and leather pants. Zelensky was selected, like so many of our leaders. And honestly, with big tech and with election fraud these days, we don't know how many leaders all around the world have been selected for us and weren't actually voted in.
How to build back better.
We have to build back.
Donald Trump gets the Republican nomination, there are many of us that will move heaven and earth to ensure he doesn't win.
We are fighting the same battles all over the world. To pretend that this war is about Russia and Ukraine is a barefaced lie. Putin has been warning for 15 years that he is not going to stand by while the globalists take over the world, build bioweapons facilities and whatever else they're doing in Ukraine. Ukraine has been a center of money laundering for many of the leaders in this country. Billions of US dollars have been laundered through Ukraine, and we say nothing about it. Does nobody question these things? We have an idiot like Lieutenant Colonel Vindman.
Mr. Vindman.
Lieutenant Colonel Vindman, please.
Do you always insist on civilians calling you by your rank?
And sits there as a lieutenant colonel. He didn't even make colonel. And he's telling the president of the United States what his policy should be. You have a traitor in the form of Maria Yovanovitch, who was Obama's ambassador, who's telling Ukrainian government officials, don't listen to the will of the American people.
In his July 25th phone call with Ukrainian President Zelensky, the president badmouthed Yovanovitch, calling her bad news.
I was shocked, absolutely shocked.
And then she's given a cushy job for life at Georgetown University, and we're told that the president of the United States cannot say to his foreign counterparts that we want you to look into something.
If the prosecutor's not fired, you're not getting the money. Oh, son of a bitch. And they put in place someone who was solid.
So much hypocrisy and dishonesty here, and Ukraine is at the center of it all.
You want to play this? Okay. Have to play with it. Come on. Okay. Do you want to play rough? Okay. Say hello to my little friend.
Storm zone.
Yes, sir.
I'm wondering what storm they're talking about.
They have unsuccessfully tried to take down the wrong person.
and he's absolutely going to come back with full vengeance the next time around.
I think about what 4 years of a retribution presidency might look like. Our Constitution really does give President tremendous power to destroy. This will be something we could never have imagined.
Now the gloves are off.
Some of Trump's close political allies told him they are working on figuring out the identities of the FBI and DOJ staff and forming lists.
I will direct a completely overhauled DOJ to investigate every radical DA and HE in America for their illegal, racist enforcement of the law. The deep state is destroying our nation, but the tables must turn and we will quickly destroy the deep state. We know where the bodies are buried. There are a lot of people out there that have done some very, very evil things, very bad things, I would say treasonous things against our country. People that have done such harm to our country. I've been looking at them for a long time.
He could order the investigation and prosecution of individuals who he perceives as enemies.
Put them all in jail where they belong. You gotta get tough and smart, and you have to fight fire with fire. You can't allow this to go on. And I will be the one to clean it up. I am your retribution. We will take care of it. We will take care of it.
Hi, folks. Thank you for joining me tonight. I do appreciate it. It's happening. You all know what I'm talking about. It's happening. Who came in to see me tonight? Let me see who all's here. Ha, ha, ha. Let's see. Sherry's here. Todd's here. Sissy's here. Elva's here, Kim's here, Linda's here. Nice to see you all, Robin. Nice to see you all. Let's see. Going down the line. Wow, Rebecca's here. Brett's here. All right. Melinda, Randy. Who am I missing? Anybody? Going down the line. Sherry's here. Cole's here. Colette. Ann's here. Wayne's here giving me a thumbs up. Thank you, Wayne. I do appreciate it. And is anybody from the younger gang in here? Wayne would buy me a coffee. A younger gang would buy me a coffee, and I didn't see the notification, so I got to give them a special shout out. Miss Menderzu, nice to see you. I want to make sure I'm not missing anybody. Cole's here. Colette's here. All right, let's see. Who else is rolling in? I want to try to get as many people as I can. Pappy Two Bears is here. Stanton's here. Roland's here. Looking for love in all the right places, Roland. That's what I say. I'm teasing you, Roland. You know that. I know you got a rough up there in Canada. So, anyway. Let's see. All right. I appreciate everybody that came in. If I missed anybody, I do apologize. That's the proper pronunciation, I'm sure. So anyway, I'm probably a little older than that, but many of you can relate to the little meme I have on the screen before the do-gooders got a hold of all of us. But along with Wayne and the younger gang and Roland, Mike and Bev and Colette went by buy me a coffee. Finished up the first week the third week. What week are we in? Wait a minute. I'm so excited about this that's been going on. Anyway, whatever. We finished up a week. And that's the nice folks that chipped in and buy me a coffee to help out, which is much appreciated. So anyway, Trump flew out of Davos. victory in hand. The peace council has been set up. There's a framework for Greenland. We got some pig squealing over that. Now, pig squealing, I'll show you that one in a little bit. Birds singing. We got somebody. Here's the border piece. It's all only costs $1 billion. If you want to get in there, get your 2 cents in. Put up or shut up. And Marco Rubio, he's ready to head to Greenland. Here they got him. He'll be interim president, I'm sure. All the different outfits they putting on. But anyway, so this woman who was convicted in Minnesota, I'll play a little clip on her. She's singing that everybody knew about the fraud. Let's see what she can bring to the table. Okay. And also this creep that I've shown many times, a Capitol so-called police officer was at Congress today, making an idiot of himself. And speaking of idiots, does anybody know who this idiot is? I'm asking the chats if you've heard. I'll tell you who it is. I just want to see if anybody knows. What's this idiot doing? There you go. Younger gang is Tammy and myself. All right. I do appreciate it. I tell you what, I keep getting these notifications that load up my notification bar. And I was saying, why did I get a notification on that? I was so mad because I finished the broadcast. But this is the kind of crap they're doing now on notifications. Silent notifications. The whole top bar is filled with this garbage that Google puts out now. Instead of, I remember I was getting stuff from Yahoo News, CNN, all these different things. Now it's just a magnifying glass with different stories. And I don't ask for this. But look at this, the kind of garbage I get. Portland officials protest ICE operation. Remember, this is part of a coordinated propaganda psyop on people that have phones. It's not just me. I mean, it's people, everybody's getting stuff like this. Portland leaders raise alarm over ICE operation. School attendance plunges. Well, the average person isn't paying attention to stuff that we all are paying attention to about them shutting down the schools and giving kids a bunch of propaganda signs and sending them out, teaching them we're on stolen land and that ICE are a bunch of Nazis and all this crap they put out there. They just say school attendance plunging. And they have access to everybody's phones to whisper in the ear electronically of people to push their own message. So Google's going to have to get busted up, like Ma Bell got busted up. It's an antitrust situation. And when you get people in charge that have Marxist ideology, New World ideology, whatever you want to call it, cabal, whatever, and they get control over all the phones and all the messaging, that's got to get busted up. But we'll do like my father used to say, we'll Swiss cheese it. Podge a hole in it here, a hole in it there, and just keep on podging it till you take care of the whole problem. Swiss cheese it. There you go, Todd. No, I want to know what their game is, sissy. I don't hit not interested. I want to see what their message is so I can counteract it. One of my friends come up to me and said, "Oh, the school attendance is plunging because of ICE." I can say, "Oh yeah, I saw that. That's Google's propaganda. It's plunging because they're using the kids to go out and protest." Yes, another crooked judge. Won't prosecute Lemon, Sue said. Yeah. Roland said judge. And that is who that is. I want to ask you all, since so many of you have your ear to the ground, This, I'll explain who it is to everybody in the chats. It's a judge who refused to approve the arrest warrant on Don Lemon. And his wife, where is it? His wife is affiliated. Here we go. Is this Assistant Attorney General at Minnesota Attorney General's office? I'm proud to help A.G. Ellison and the mayors to protect equal sovereignty of Minnesota and the safety of our residents by suing ICE. Her husband's the judge that won't arrest Don Lemon, who was walking up on children filing out of the church in confusion and fear and saying, oh, they're going to get traumatized, but that's part of protesting trauma. You got to be traumatized. And even with that, the federal government coming to this peanut magistrate judge, a political appointment, not an Article 3 lifetime appointment judge, but a magistrate, political animal. Federal government comes with that kind of evidence. Oh, no, he won't do it. Who approved the warrants on the other two that got arrested? Three of them got arrested. Was it the same judge? If you don't know, you don't know. But if you know, please let me know. Here's one of them right here. Who is that? Christy, no. I think I have a brief video over getting arrested too. Might be the other one. Here's another. Oh, is this the same one? JLR investigate Don Lemon's friend Nekima Levy Armstrong has been arrested by the FBI for storming the Minneapolis church. Is Don Lemon next? Well, they were trying to. But this magistrate judge, the same level of judge that authorized the raid on Donald Trump's home. Because I'm thinking, if they went to different judges to get the first, go to this one to root them out. Do you imagine why, if they use the same magistrate judge, why would he approve arrest warrants on three of them? One of them said gravel voice hippie, that bearded freak, that Sasquatch that came in screaming at kids, and then these two others. One is just a run-of-the-mill activist. Another one is a so-called attorney. Why would the same judge approve three arrest warrants and then disapprove Don Lemon? I'm wondering. I'd like to know who approved the arrest warrants on the first three. I don't think it was the same judge. I think this judge got put in a position to get exposed. What do you all think? Do you all think that might have been in the cards? We've got a lot of judges exposed. Oh, this idiot's going to be leaving soon, too. Right here. Goodbye. Mahmoud. This is from News Nation. Mahmoud Khalil will be deported to Algeria. We want to see a picture of him boarding a plane with zip ties on, okay? His little rag bag packed up, and off you go. And as much as he's cost this country, any assets that he has needs to be seized. And if his wife doesn't want to be alone, and if she's in a family way, keep the family together. Let them all go together. Because all we're going to do is inherit another one of Uncle Sam's, someone who's joined Uncle Sam's harem. Okay? That's what I'm going to start calling them. Brides of Uncle Sam. Hi, Darla. Nice to see you. Ha ha. Tammy, there you go. I put a shout out for the coffee going by Buy Me a Coffee, and I do appreciate it. So anyway, I was off on my my guesstimation as to when things would happen. I thought the Davos news would be put first, and then the arrest would occur. But I still may be right, because they could pick. I said Lemon would be arrested Friday morning early in the wee hours of the morning, and I might very well be right, because the Justice Department can go to a real judge, a circuit court judge, and have a warrant issued. Or they can impanel a grand jury. And it shouldn't take about, 5 minutes to indict him. And it can give him a little more time to cogitate. Wait a minute, we watch all these videos. Maybe we'll tack on some more stuff. Here's where somebody had a picture of JLR had a picture of Don Lemon. He was doing a live stream. Here, JLR said, Don Lemon is live right now on his YouTube channel, and he's totally distracted looking at his phone. His friends just got arrested by the FBI for storming a Minneapolis church. Don is panicking. There he is. And of course, this is his live stream. He's going, we're going to go over the autopsy of, what's her face? I don't want to say her name. What's there to go over? She's full of holes. And I always have to qualify it. It's sad. It's like J.D. Vance said today. It was tragic. But, what happened. But anyway, so he's puckered, as I was saying yesterday. So maybe that'll happen in the morning. Here's the first time I heard of it from CNN. And I thought this was a judge that was doing an interview and rejected it while they were discussing the thing. Not formally rejecting it. I didn't think it was a sitting judge. I thought it might have been Judge Littell or whatever his name is. I call him Toad Frog, a TV judge. And it says, judge rejects DOJ's initial bid to bring charges against former CNN. Just say CNN has been. Save yourself some words. So anyway, I thought it was a TV judge. But it was a magistrate judge, and Don Lemon didn't get picked up today. It'd been nice to see him get arrested during his live stream, wouldn't it? Wouldn't that have been great? But hey, the story is still moving along, and we shall see. Here. Guess what this is? TDS. Whoa. This is a postal worker. I showed you all the video where postal worker union was getting together to defy the federal government and to join the resistance. Okay, so we've got federal workers joining in this insurrection. And I said that TDS is going to be, in my mind, codified into an actual condition. Okay? It is a discernible flaw in people's psyches, and they can tie it straight to an illegal psychological warfare campaign, a conspiracy to spread propaganda to subvert the federal government. They have to have a tangible, intellectually tangible result. And I believe TDS is going to be that result. But anyway, here is a postal worker driving by ICE, sticking his finger in the air. I wonder how long he'll have a job.
Go home, you fucking loser! United States Postal Service.
So it's obviously a passenger. They obviously have the tag number, the truck number, the time of day. They shouldn't have any trouble focusing on who this individual was. And, yeah. More evidence to TDS. You know, I showed that creep. With Speedway. And, you know, that was still popping off while we were live. At least the videos were being uploaded, and it wasn't uploaded in time for me to put it in my live. But this is their refusal to allow ICE into the Speedway and gave them time to draw a crowd. Okay, this is Greg Bovino. 1, 2, 3. You get three warnings according to the judge.
I'm in the gas. Get back. Gas is coming. Gas is coming. Gas warning. Gas warning. Gas warning. Gas warning. Hey. Gas. 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 You just get back. Get back. Get back.
Can't even go pee-pee from what they're stirring up. But anyway, here she is getting arrested. One of these characters. This is the attorney or not. Let's see if I see any tears rolling down her chubby little cheeks.
Lockup's in there. We'll bring her in. She'll stand off to the side. I know this only because I just did it once.
Yeah, they had to double cuff that one. Hey, Joshua, how you doing? Nice to see you. So anyway, we'll be looking forward to more arrests. Let me get this judge down. I still got that creepy judge. Just so y'all remember what he looks like. There he is. There he is. Let me check the chats if anyone knew. Is this the only case that was put before this judge? Were there other judges involved in getting the first 3 arrested? You know, I had a video of the bearded guy, but he's nothing but foul-mouthed trash, and I don't want to keep playing that. Yeah, 2 cuffs. They double cuffed him. Her, I mean. Yeah, Pam's livid with, of course. Pam's upset. I'm just... oh, okay, I'll do that. I'll do that, Colette. Yeah, she is livid. And she put out some statements. Now, you know, this gives Pam some breathing room. I've got some video of Jack Smith testifying. And to be fair to Pam Bondi, you know, there's a lot going on, a process that has to be done. You just can't go around. I guess you could. Oh, my goodness. I didn't put it in right. It said, ignore that. I'll have to take that down. That's not it. But anyway, I'll do it while video's playing. Let me get this creepy judge out of here. Out of here. Let's see how much evidence comes from this situation. Vance went up there, and I put last chance in my title. Why did I put last chance? I think J.D. Vance is letting these police know that they can't citizens. If they're being assaulted, they deserve protection and assistance just like any other citizen. But he's doing it so diplomatic. He gave such a great speech. I hope you all got a chance to watch it. But anyway, this is somebody who is a bird singing Minnesota fraud. New tax money was being stolen.
Ringleader of the $250 million Minnesota welfare fraud scandal, telling Fox News she believes the state leaders knew taxpayer money was being stolen and did nothing to stop it.
But I guess, how high up do you think the message went that there was fraud? Like, do you think it made its way to the governor's office?
I struggle to believe it didn't. I have to believe that the governor's office and Keith Ellison's office were aware of this. They've said they were involved in helping the FBI. They've said they were made aware.
A spokesperson for the state attorney general responding, saying in part, quote, treating the words of a convicted fraudster like Amy Bach as though they have any credibility is shocking. She is a liar, fraudster, and manipulator of the highest order who has never acknowledged or accepted her guilt.
Oh, really? That's what Keith Ellison says. Keith Ellison is on the chopping block, too. I think J.D. Vance is meeting with salvageable people that can be salvaged, and giving them, in so many words, a warning. If you don't want to find yourself waddling into a processing center with federal charges, you better start playing ball. I think that's what is happening. What happened today. I really do. There's my link for Buy Me a Coffee Cola in the description, in the chats. I mean, I put it in at the 32-minute mark or 33-minute mark. If anybody, that's where the link is. So anyway, and I'll put it in later on. So anyway, so we shall see what will come of that. Donald Trump posted this today. He posted, he did a firestorm of posts around, 11 o'clock today. There's no way I could have uploaded all the videos he posted, but I did pick this one out. I like it. I like it a lot.
Comey, Clapper, Brennan, Obama, Monaco, all conspired together, all worked together to try to sabotage, undermine, unravel the democratic institutions and structures of this country. The Russiagate hoax, the Russiagate conspiracy, and all of the assaults against our liberties that went with it, the pre-dawn raids, the handcuffing of innocent Americans, the espionage against President Trump's campaign and staff, the removal of his national security advisor, one fake indictment, one fake charge after another, the special counsel, all of it was a unrelenting attempt to overthrow the government the American people voted for. I cannot find words harsh enough to condemn the conduct of these conspirators, these insurrectionists.
Putting the shoe on the other foot, he named the names. Insurrectionists. I might save that video. Speaking of videos I want to save, they're all sweating bullets. here's a young lady, let me find it, that confronted this Michael Fanone. I call him Phony Fanone. I should call him Phony Fanoni. Phony Fanoni. This is the creep. And you all know all my data got blasted, right? And it is trapped inside an SD card. I had videos 5 years old of all kinds of stuff. One of them is Fanone in civilian clothing, walking through the Capitol with a big grin on his face, carrying a Confederate flag, out of uniform. And here he is, clomping through, and he's got his big lunkhead bodyguard with him, and this nice young reporter says, I saw what you did. Okay? I'll let you all listen to it.
Officer Fanone, how are you today?
I'm great.
What happened in there?
What are you talking about?
That confrontation.
Jack Smith testified about how he had proof beyond a reasonable doubt that Donald Trump incited, orchestrated, and funded the insurrection at the Capitol on January 6, 2021.
It seemed like there was a fight in there?
No, there was no fight.
Is it true, Officer Fanone, that you turned off your own body camera on January 6th?
No.
I saw your body cam. You turned it off yourself. You were playing dead. I saw your body cam footage.
You're a fucking
what am I?
Right-wing conspiracy theorist.
I saw you turn off your body cam footage, sir. But thank you for disrespecting me. Psychopath.
Ha ha ha. What did you notice about her? What did you all notice about her? She said psychopath. You got that right. But what else did you notice about her? And he said, you know what you are? And she said, what am I? Ha ha. I want to see if anybody noticed anything I noticed. Ha ha. Hi, Debbie. She is the same reporter, I believe. Let me pause it at a certain point.
Officer Fanone.
Let me see.
How are you today?
See if you all notice anything about her.
What are you talking about?
What do you notice about her? Let me see if she gets a little closer to the camera.
Confrontation.
Jack Smith testified about how he had.
She has got coverings on her hand, kind of like gloves, with no fingers. No finger covering. I remember a young lady with the same type of gloves on that specifically asked Donald Trump about Venezuela election interference. She was standing there with her glove on and no fingers on the glove, black. And I believe she's the same one. Do you all remember that too? She was very specific. And that's when Donald Trump said, my lawyers have found out some stuff. So I just noticed little things like that, don't you? She worked for Lindell TV, yeah. Let me see, is this where Fanone goes cuckoo? Yeah. Look at him. Look at him all bristled up. Boy, I tell you what, when I was in my prime, he'd been sitting on the ground with his little birds flying around his head. But anyway, here he is. You can't really hear what's going on, but you see his big bozo bodyguard. As a matter of fact, I shouldn't make fun of that guy. He seems to be actually a rather professional acting person. If he's, I'm sure he's hired security. I don't know who's paying for this Fanone's security, but they better all be lawyering up. They better all be lawyering up. And apparently he feels he needs a bodyguard. But anyway, when you sit here and behave this way to people, you're asking for it. Oh, it'd be so easy to upset somebody like him. Just call him. To you and your prison tattoos, you look like a street bum. You look like a street bum, you creep. You're not a federal officer. You're a street bum. Oh, that would get underneath his skin. The truth really rattles their cage, don't you know? But anyway, I'm going to play this because, and if y'all can get on Truth Social, she's reminding us of a grand jury that's in session right now in Florida, overseen by Eileen Cannon.
You do not want to miss the next episode of Going Rogue with Lara Logan as we take a close look at a court case in Florida that may have escaped your notice. Is it the accountability that everybody is talking about? John Brennan, former head of the CIA under President Obama, Barack Obama, has been called before a grand jury that is investigating the origins of the Russiagate scandal. And some 20 to 30 people have been subpoenaed, including the likes of James Clapper, former director of national intelligence, along with people like Andy McCabe, the deputy director of the FBI, all of whom were co-conspirators in a treasonous conspiracy that was labeled that by the current director of national intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard. So is this the case that all of us should be watching? What exactly is going on with this grand jury? What are these subpoenas about? And what does it all mean? Well, we unpack it with one of the people that knows more about this than anybody else. Her name is Svetlana Lakova, a professor who was cast in the middle of all of this, falsely accused and targeted as a Russian spy. Join me and Svetlana Lakova as we explain why this case in Florida is one to watch.
It's going to shake up a lot of people. A lot of people are puckered up over that. Jack Smith is one of them. He's one of the co-conspirators. Let's see. Where is Jack? Whoa, wait a minute. What's this? Oh, cutting ties. The United States has officially withdrawn from the World Health Organization, finalizing President Trump's decision to leave the global health body over its handling of COVID-19 and ties to China. So Trump is reshaping the world. Taking the place of NATO with the peace initiative that he's doing. And we're getting out of where we have a bunch of people that want us to eat bugs, getting rid of their control over our lives. Let me see what this one is. I might not want to play this one yet. I just want to see what it is. This is Jerk Smith. Let me tell you. I'll interrupt it here and there. But let me ask y'all. You all seen a lot of pictures of Jerk Smith, right? And I believe this is the same Jerk Smith. But he looks emaciated. He looks like he's lost a lot of weight. And his forehead looks like a road map Those are called worry lines. And remember, these people got to pay for their own damn attorneys. That includes that phony Fanoni. So, and all the other creeps that are going to be getting called in. But anyway, here we go.
Smith, in January of 2023, did you subpoena then Speaker of the House Kevin McCarthy's toll records?
Yes, sir, we did.
Yes, you did. And the subpoena covered the time period between November 2020 and January 2021. Is that right?
I'm sorry, sir. Could you say that again?
We're not going to delay like this. The subpoena covered the time period between November of 2020 and January 2021. How many days after Kevin McCarthy was sworn in as Speaker did you subpoena his records?
I don't recall, but those two things had nothing to do with one.
It was 16 days after becoming the highest-ranking Republican in the House of Representatives. You subpoenaed his toll records. Do you agree that that might reasonably be considered a violation of the speech or debate clause?
I do not, and I want to be clear that the toll records...
You were collecting months' worth of phone data on the Republican Speaker of the House, the leader of the opposition, right after your vote. That sounds like a flagrant violation of the speech or debate clause to me, and I think most people agree with me. And Speaker McCarthy had no recourse, did he? Because you issued a non-disclosure order ensuring that neither he nor any of the American people knew about these subpoenas. Is that right?
The toll record, the non-content toll record subpoenas, we did secure non-disclosure orders for those subpoenas.
You did. And let me ask you, Mr. Smith, at the time you secured those non-disclosure orders, was Speaker McCarthy a flight risk?
The non-disclosure order was based on concerns about...
Was Speaker McCarthy a flight risk?
He was not.
He was not. Then why disclosure order refer to him as a flight risk?
Saying Kevin McCarthy, the Speaker of the House, would have ran away from a subpoena and gone to another country. Well, just remember that, Jack Smith. If they get a warrant against you, you get arrested, you're a bigger flight risk than anybody because you spent all of your time over there at The Hague, okay, doing nothing after you ruined a lot of lives and were rejected 9-0 by the Supreme Court over one of your witch hunts. You're a bigger flight risk. So don't look for bail money, buddy.
It says right here, the court finds reasonable grounds to believe that such disclosure will result in flight from prosecution.
Sir, when securing a non-disclosure order, the risks don't have to be associated.
You think that the Speaker of the House is a flight risk?
The question?
No, this is not your time. This is my time. You think the Speaker of the House is a flight risk? You think he's going to hop on a plane and leave the country?
No, what I was trying to explain is with respect to a non-disclosure order, the risks aren't necessarily associated with the subscriber to the phone. They're the risks to the investigation.
I think that you were using, this was clearly in reference to Speaker McCarthy, and you were using clearly false information to secure a non-disclosure order to hide from Speaker McCarthy and from the American people the fact that you were spying on his toll records. But I've got more, so let's move on. In May of 2023, you also issued subpoenas for toll records of 9 U.S. senators and an additional representative. Is that right?
In May of 23, we did issue...
You did, and there were non-disclosure orders in conjunction with those subpoenas as well, right?
That's correct, consistent with department policy and the law.
So again, nobody would know what you were doing. The senators would, and the representatives would, and the American people wouldn't know what you were doing. Is that right?
The toll records that we secured and the non-disclosure orders were consistent with policy and consistent...
And you knew whenever you were doing that there was a risk you were violating the speech or debate clause. Is that right?
The toll record subpoenas that we secured were with the concurrence of the public integrity.
Your own analysis says that you knew there was a risk you were violating the speech or debate clause. I have it right here. This is an email from John Keller at Public Integrity Section to your team. As you are aware, quote, as you are aware, there is some litigation risk regarding whether compelled disclosure of toll records of a member's legislative calls violates the speech or debate clause in the D.C. Circuit. That's from your own analysis right there. So you did know, didn't you?
Sir, with respect to the item you just put up on the screen, the last sentence states...
we're going to get to the last sentence.
Okay.
We're going to get to the last sentence. And you cite case law in here, quote, the bar on compelled disclosure is absolute. Is that right? Or do you think that you didn't have to abide by that precedent?
To be clear, this statement is not from my office. This is the statement of public.
This is your justification for those. It's a cursory analysis. I think it's worth noting. But let's get to that last sentence then. Quote, given my understanding of the low likelihood that any of the members listed below would be charged, the litigation risk should be minimal here. In other words, you're using a novel legal theory, which you're not charging any of these members. Nobody's going to know about it because you issued NDOs. Nobody's going to sue this, so who cares? We're going to do it anyways. I mean, you walked all over the Constitution throughout this entire process.
Mr. Chairman, the gentleman's time's expired.
On members of Congress, and you know it. It's absolutely disgraceful.
I yield back. Yeah, there's a lot of clips you can get. A lot of clips where he looked horrible. I mean, he was raked over the coals. Let me get that Mahmoud Khalil off my screen. I'm tired of looking at him. Go to Algeria. Get out of here. Get out. There we go. Trump put up a couple of posts. Let me see. Let me see if this is about him or not. Something else? Congresswoman, I was going to write down how many people are puckered. Okay? How many people don't know when the knock is going to come? Ilhan Omar is another one. I mean, we're talking a dozen people that have been publicly put on the hot seat. That there is investigations and or grand juries. Ilhan Omar's one of them, worth over $30 million. There is no way such wealth could have been accumulated legally while being paid the salary of a politician. She should be investigated for financial and political crimes, and that investigation should start now. Remember, Donald Trump means what he says and says what he means. And Donald Trump is always right. Record numbers all over the place. Should I try for a fourth term? I'm going to give you all another prediction. And I've hinted at it in the past. And I'd said that I feel that I know how he will constitutionally be eligible for a fourth term. And I predict that he will run again. And I don't want to spill the beans, but I believe I know, and I can tell you the time, the day, the time, and the hour when I figured it out. Keep that in your quiver of information. The people who brought the tariff litigation against our country, now in the United States Supreme Court, are strongly China-oriented and very upset by the fact that the United States is doing so well. Giant growth and investment, almost no inflation. Here's the important sentence. These people, in some cases, Americans, okay? I've talked about Jerome Too Late Powell, in my opinion, being under the influence of foreign powers, okay, as well as that Lisa Cook that he's trying to get rid of. Here he's saying we've got Americans working that are China-oriented. What does that mean? Should be ashamed of themselves. Make America great again. China-oriented, that means you're working with a foreign power. That ain't good. It ain't good for you. And another thing that ain't too good for J.P. Morgan Chase. Don't forget, They were heavily involved in the Epstein Virgin Islands fiasco. Breaking news, Donald Trump filed a lawsuit Wednesday seeking at least $5 billion from J.P. Morgan Chase Company and CEO Jamie Dimon, accusing the bank of cutting off his long-standing accounts for political reasons, according to reports. There you go. Trump sues J.P. Morgan. When are those birds going to sing? Especially when it comes to fraud, money laundering, waste, fraud, and abuse in the Virgin Islands, and ties to Jeffrey Epstein. I think we're going to learn a lot. A lot. Oh, it's just starting, folks. The information spigot. Based on testimony today, there is no question that deranged Jack Smith should be prosecuted for his actions. He's puckering even more. He destroyed the lives of many innocent people, which has been his history as a prosecutor. At a minimum, he committed large-scale perjury. Those lives he destroyed. He could lose his qualified immunity. If he was involved in a deprivation of rights under the color of law, he'll be personally liable. On top of whatever prison sentence he could get. Clandestine put this out. And I put him up because I concur with many, not all, but many of the things he says. For those saying none of it matters until high-profile people are arrested, I've got news for you. The big fish are very likely going to be last for optic reasons. If you think that replacing Bondi is going to somehow make high-profile arrests happen faster, you're mistaken. In fact, it would be the opposite. It would slow us down and undo our progress. You must understand that we are on a timeline, and the American people must see some things before they see former presidents in the plural, and high-profile politicians under arrest. These are not normal circumstances. This process must be surgical and controlled. In a game of chess, do you make a mad rush at the king, or do you take down the pawns in lesser pieces to first ensure you can safely take the king? Think. And he had a picture of a chessboard, which I didn't copy that, but you all know what a chessboard looks like. And Donald Trump is playing 5D chess, as we know. Deranged Jack Smith is being decimated before Congress. It was over when they discussed his past failures and unfair prosecutions. He destroyed many lives under the guise of legitimacy. That's another way of saying color of law. Wouldn't you agree? It is a felony to deprive someone of their rights under the color of law. He did this under the guise of legitimacy. Jack Smith is a deranged animal who shouldn't be allowed to practice law. If he were a Republican, his license would be taken away from him, and far worse. Hopefully, the Attorney General is looking at what he's done, including some of the was attempting to use in the case against me. The whole thing was a Democrat scam. A big price should be paid by them for what they put our country through. He means what he says. Marco Rubio said that. And I believe he's got one more post about deranged Jack Smith. I'll get to it in a minute. But here we go. Didn't I mention this about fraudulent polling? being part of an illegal psychological warfare campaign? Fake and fraudulent polling should be virtually a criminal offense. As an example, all of the anti-Trump media that covered me during the 2020 election showed polls that were knowingly wrong. They knew what they were doing, trying to influence the election, but I won in a landslide, including winning the popular vote, all 7 of the 7 swing states. The Electoral College was a rout, and 2,750 counties to 525. You can't do much better than that. And yet, if people examine the failing New York Times, ABC fake news, NBC fake news, CBS fake news, low ratings, CNN, or the now defunct MSDNC, polls were all fraudulent. Results. Something has to be done about fraudulent polling. Even the polls of Fox News and the Wall Street Journal have been, over the years, terrible. There are great pollsters that call the election right, but the media does not want to use them in any way, shape, or form. Isn't it sad what has happened to American journalism? But I'm going to do everything possible to keep this polling scam from moving forward. Well, he's suing. Okay? The New York Times. I'll get to that in a minute. I just want to, I'll copy these, and sometimes I don't get to them. Again, something has to be done about the fake polls are out of control. We have the greatest economy in history, strongest border. Nobody's ever done a job like I have done, and they have me in the low 40s. The Democrats destroyed health care. I'm trying to fix it, and they give me fake low numbers. Fake poll numbers on the economy, on the border, on just about everything are ridiculous and dangerous. The real polls have been great, but they refuse to print them. This is no different than a writer who is corrupt, of which there are many. The New York Times and so many others print polls knowingly false. They have become deranged and sick. They suffer from a major case of, capital letters, Trump derangement syndrome, an intellectually tangible result. To prove that and done it in a legal way, you have to show a result. TDS is an irrational way of thinking. And I think it's going to be given a formal psychological terminology to define it. Their 2024 election coverage was so bad and so wrong, and yet they never get called out for it. But I am calling them out with the lawsuit I have filed, which is making its way through the courts, and they have to pay a price for fake and fraudulent news, and hopefully in the not too distant future they will. How much are you suing for, Donald? President Trump? I'll get to that in a minute. This is good. New on CNN. A court filing from Epstein estate. I got in my title. Obama Epstein. Says Kathy Rumler drafted a letter to ABC News before it KILLED'd a victim interview with Jeffrey Epstein, despite her saying she never represented or was paid by him. I have a video on that. If they had evidence of a former White House counsel for Trump, you got to listen to the story, because I believe this woman was not only she also helped arranged that illegal plea deal that Donald Trump had thrown in the trash pail. If Donald Trump had a former counsel, White House counsel, helping Jeffrey Epstein, this report would be full of pictures of Donald Trump. You won't see one picture of Obama. And don't forget, Jeffrey Epstein was on the phone texting with a member of Congress during Donald Trump's impeachment hearings. Free as a damn bird. But anyway, I believe this is part of the Truth and Reconciliation Act. Even though they don't show pictures of Obama, they try to brush over some stuff. They're still reporting on it. It doesn't look good for Trump derangement people, of which there are many.
Tonight, where are the rest of the Epstein files? Amidst all of the chaos, so far only 1% of the files have been released to the public. And obviously, we're 32 days now past the DOJ's deadline, the day that they were required to release all of the files, still at 1%. So we're doing the reporting. And it comes as a new K-File report tonight. Shows the woman Jeffrey Epstein, called his, quote, great defender, was much more involved in his legal and media strategy than previously known. Kathy Ruemmler is a Goldman Sachs executive, also a former Obama White House lawyer. She was deeply involved in defending him, even appeared to play a role in pressing to kill an ABC interview with a document. K-File's Andrew Kaczynski is out front. And Andrew, obviously, she is still in a great position of power. Now, you've looked through this legal document, the specific one that I just referred to, all top to bottom. What did you find out?
Well, Aaron, this document gives the clearest picture yet about how much Jeffrey Epstein relied on Kathy Ruemmler. Not casually, but repeatedly, and at moments when the stakes for him were the highest. Now, it comes from a civil lawsuit that was brought by two of Epstein's victims against the executors of his estate, who are accused of helping enable his crimes. Those are allegations they strongly deny. The estate was required to turn over what's known as a privilege log. Now, under attorney-client privilege, lawyers don't have to release the contents of confidential legal communications, but they had to identify, in this case, that those communications existed and describe in general terms what they were about. Now, we don't know exactly what was in those emails, but these descriptions alone are actually very revealing. The log details thousands of emails between Epstein and his attorneys, and more than 300 of them include Kathy Ruemmler, including 150 direct exchanges between her and Epstein. The estate has repeatedly described her in these notes as providing legal advice, drafting statements to the media, advising on how to respond to abuse allegations, weighing in on victim settlements, and communicating about inquiries from lawmakers who wanted to investigate him. One episode we found that stands out in particular, it shows just how high the stakes were for Epstein. It was April 2015. ABC News was preparing to air an on-camera interview with Epstein victim Virginia Roberts Giuffre. I know you've interviewed her family before on this show. And she was going to publicly accuse Epstein of sexually abusing her when she was a teen and trafficking her to powerful men. Now, after ABC News reached out to Epstein, the filing shows he quickly reached out for legal advice. That included Ruemmler. The log appears to show her on more than a dozen emails with descriptions like negotiations with a media outlet to prevent false allegations from being aired and how to deal with media coverage of claims against Epstein. The filing also says that Ruemmler sent a document to Epstein's longtime personal attorney labeled Letter to ABC Draft 3 KR. Seemingly, she added her own initials there. The very next day, Epstein's longtime personal attorney sent a formal letter to ABC warning them about airing the interview. This interview never airs. ABC later said the story hadn't met their standards to air. And this moment really matters because Ruemmler has described her relationship with Epstein, as we previously reported on the show, as informal, occasional. But here, the estate is claiming privilege over involvement at a moment when Epstein's reputational exposure was at its highest. Giuffre, she died by suicide last year.
She wrote in her memoir that she felt very...
And at least they put ex-Obama. They put Obama's name down there, but no picture of Obama. And remember, I played that video of where ABC also squashed the story. This is being eased out to the public.
Proud of having done this interview. She was devastated that it didn't air. She out against. And I couldn't help but wonder if a media giant like ABC could be shut down in its attempts to reveal the truth. Was there any hope for survivors like me?
I mean, just really incredible to think about this. And as you say, the contrast of the way she's described the interactions, informal and occasional, with what this shows.
And you saw it there, that log. It really tells a story, just how you see all of those emails and her to Epstein or her to Epstein's attorney, things like that.
Yeah, I mean, so how does, the way that Rumler describes a relationship, square with how the estate is now describing it?
Well, what's striking here, Aaron, is this isn't simply about representing a controversial client. It's about whether the scope of the work here described in these court filings matches how Rumler herself has described that relationship. Rumler told CNN she didn't represent Epstein. She knew him as a business referral source when she was leading the white-collar practice at Latham & Watkins. And he would occasionally reach out to her for informal legal advice. But this privilege log paints a very different picture in terms of both scale and substance. For example, there's one email we found from 2016 where Epstein wrote to his longtime attorney in the subject line. He was, quote, waiting for Kathy's first pass on a public statement responding to sexual abuse allegations in the press. 30 minutes later, we see in the log, Rumler is added to that same chain. So this suggests that not only was she involved, but she was shaping Epstein's response right from the beginning there. And again, when you zoom out here, Aaron, we see this pattern again and again. Moments where Epstein's legal exposure, public image, or legal memo on a lawsuit that threatened to undo his 2008 non-prosecution agreement. Rumler says she was not compensated by Epstein. So that would put all of this work as free legal work into the realm of pro bono representation. She made $22.5 million at Goldman Sachs last year. Most big law attorneys in this position, when they do pro bono legal work, it's for poor clients, for public interest. It's generally convicted sexual predators.
Have they brought up the fact that she's no longer alive? I've been listening about when she tweeted out that she was not you-know-what-icidal.
No, I mean, let's just be clear. That doesn't add up at all. And I think it's important to mention, how much money she makes. She's incredibly highly compensated by Goldman Sachs. It's significant in and of itself. So what is Goldman Sachs saying about this? What is Rumler saying about all of this new reporting?
So we reached out to both Rumler and Goldman Sachs this time. She did not respond to a request for comment to us. We did get a comment from Goldman Sachs. It's from Tony Fratto. That's their head of communications. And here's what he said. He told CNN, us, quote, it is irresponsible and wrong for CNN to draw conclusions about the content of communications from brief and generic descriptors of emails you haven't seen. Kathy was not. Kathy has told CNN before she never represented Epstein and never advocated on his behalf to a third party. She was one of many prominent lawyers he informally reached out to for advice. So the firm is standing by Kathy Rumler, and she's very much...
Her description, which was occasional.
Yes, and she's very much standing by that previous statement she gave to us.
Yeah, okay. All right, well, thank you very much.
So she's working for Goldman Sachs now. She's working for Goldman Sachs. But they say, oh, she didn't work with Epstein, but it says here, the filing also says the former White House counsel advised on his plea deal, public statements, a senator's inquiry, and victim settlements. She makes $22.5 million a year. Previously characterized her interactions with Epstein as occasional and limited, and she only knew him as a business referral, but a court filing from his estate said Epstein once called Rumler his great defender, and the filings now suggest what he meant. So, we'll get into that some more. Here we go with Donald Trump again. Which is always tremendously negative to me, especially just before the election of 2024, where I won in a landslide, will be added to my lawsuit against the failing New York Times. our lawyers have demanded that they keep all records, how they computed, quotes, these fake results, not just the fact that it was a heavily skewed toward Democrats. They will be held fully responsible for all of their radical left lies and wrongdoing. So the lawsuits are flying, hitting them everywhere, criminally and civilly. Oh, I'm sorry, this is Free Press. I could have got a video on this, but I didn't have time to upload it. But more Medicaid fraud found in Maine. Entire office buildings are being discovered in Portland, Maine, each one packed with home health care companies that are rarely staffed. Multiple buildings with 20 to 22 plus homes. Home health care companies found in one building. It's the same thing we're finding in Minnesota. Just to be completely blunt, the same tactics are being used to defraud Medicaid. In this case, zombie offices, I call them, were large clusters of home health care businesses and providers in one location. We saw them in Minnesota, and now we're seeing them here, and the business owners and building owners that we speak to here say enough. We're here in Portland, Maine. We found, of the businesses that are registered in here, 10 of them are home health care businesses. And it went on to describe, more things that are very similar to what Nick Shirley posted. Here's Trump reposting. Attorney General Pam Bondi. Minnesota court victory. A liberal judge in Minnesota tried to handcuff ICE agents who are enforcing the nation's immigration laws and responding to obstructive and violent interference from agitators. The Eighth Circuit just granted an administrative stay, halting these restrictions, which were designed to undermine federal law enforcement. So, in other words, the gloves are off. This DOJ will protect federal law enforcement agents from criminals in the streets and activist judges in the courtroom. Here's a 17-second clip Trump posted with this document next to it, which I'll expand if I can read it. Let's see. This is the Eighth Circuit Court of Appeals staying the lower court, saying you couldn't get rough with these kinds of creeps. So that's Trump's way of celebrating the ruling that the gloves are off. Here we have Citizens Free Press. It's a cesspool. Bill Melugin reports, multiple sources tell me and colleague David Spunt that the federal magistrate in Minnesota who refused to sign off on an arrest warrant for Don Lemon is Douglas L. Micco, and his wife works as an assistant attorney general in Minnesota, AG Keith Ellison's office. So you might want to put that on your meta page. There you go. Get a screenshot of it. I'm wondering which judges approved the warrants, the arrest warrants for the other three. Are they singling, just putting a crooked judge in the spotlight? A crooked judge. I believe so. Let me see what this video is here. Let me see. I'm not sure. Let's see. Oh. Aha. ICE not handcuffed. Okay, here we go.
Who is the Syrian national who was detained and was scheduled for deportation after organizing and allegedly being part of a Columbia University apartheid divest group that is overtly pro-terrorism, praises terrorists like Yahya Sinwar, who killed dozens of Americans on October 7th. He was then released by a judge. Yeah. You guys just got a ruling that says that that judge had no jurisdiction to allow him to be released. Are there plans now to rearrest him and continue with deportation proceedings?
There are. And it looks like he'll go to Algeria. That's what the thought is right now. It's a reminder for those who are in this country on a visa or on a green card. You're a guest in this country. Act like it. It is a privilege, not a right, to be in this country, to live or to study. And if you are pushing propaganda that relishes the killings of Americans or promotes terrorists, doors out.
So when are they going to rearrest him? I want to see it. I want to see him getting boarded on a plane. Or did he have time to flee? They better hope that's not the case. Here's Dan Scavino put this up. I don't know where y'all live at, but if you're in this area, make sure if you have any elderly neighbors, check on them because they're very independent and they'll say, "Oh, I'm okay." But, sometimes they just put up a front and they really need just a little bit of help. So check on your elderly neighbors. Make sure you got your bathtub full of water so you can flush your commodes. If a pipe freeze, we've been over all that stuff, dry goods, another way to cook. I got a wood stove. But anyway, here is some pretty nasty stuff coming through. And he also posted a video. And he posted twice about this. A historic winter storm coming. And of course, I'm thinking, why would Dan Scavino put up a weather report? And is he also telling us a storm is coming? Let me see if I got a video that he posted. Dan Scavino posted about the storm. Whoa. And it gives a little more. I mean, they're talking heavy ice, no pun intended, and power lines coming down, loss of power. And of course, we all know about frozen pipes. Let me see. Here it is. Here it is. I'm not a weather channel, but this is huge. I mean, it's huge. And they're talking about mass power outages. That's the biggest danger if you don't have an alternate form of heat.
A half inch to an inch of ice, that's enough to bring trees down. That's enough to bring power lines down. And the other part of this story is that cold. So it comes into play with the winter precipitation, but then all of a sudden it comes into play once again in the end because the ice that falls and the snow that falls isn't going anywhere anytime soon because of that cold. So once the ice falls, it's going to be there for a while. So power outages, transportation issues, that could be as long as a week, if not more.
Yeah, I think that's the dangerous aspect to this. This is not just a couple of days worth of ice and snow. The recovery impact, I mean, it's prolonged with this cold they are locking in. You mentioned, sending the aircraft out there to get real-time data. I think one thing that's been such a talker about this storm and how big it is and how many different pieces to the puzzle have to come together. What are some of the things that you have done, your team has done there at the National Weather Service to really make sure that these models, the information that we're getting right now, some of the resources that have been opened up?
It's really end-to-end here at the National Weather Service. So the first step is to get the observations we need. So you get the observations into the models. So the models are only good when you get good observations in there. So good in, good out type of thing. So getting the aircraft data helps the models become more accurate. So with that forecast, we're really trying to get a better pinpoint of exactly what the parameters are associated with how much snow is going to fall or how much ice is going to fall. And by the way, a big thing to remember here is there's a lot of talk about faster, slower, the area moves 40 miles north, 40 miles south. Look, the thing here is it's going to have a big impact. So we need everybody really getting ready for the storm and not really worrying about maybe I'll wait a model run and things will change. No, this is going to be a big impact no matter where you are in the path of this thing. But at the Weather Service, just proud of the team. I mean, they're getting themselves ready. We filled up our generators. We've been able to have food. I've got staff across the country that'll be sleeping at the office to make sure we keep everybody safe. So we get prepared here at the National Weather Service and across NOAA to make sure we're able to get everyone else prepared and keep them safe in this storm.
Absolutely. I mean, the partnership from warning area to warning area, from team to team across the regions is just incredible to see the messaging, how it's come.
How many of y'all been through an ice storm? Even if you have a wood stove, if you don't have your wood inside, even if you got a tarp over your wood, you get a coat of about 2 inches of ice, you're not going to get that wood loose. Unless you go out there with an axe or a sledgehammer, and you can't walk on that stuff. I mean, unless you got spiked shoes, I mean, it gets really bad. And the thing with ice is it's heavy, and it will rip down power lines. People will slide in their vehicles and crash into poles, knock out transformers. Even if the storm doesn't take it out, you got to worry about people not. We had one fella hit a telephone pole, knocked out a transformer, and there was no power for almost 2 flipping weeks. So, keep that in mind. And yes, people will be placed in danger over this. So, like I said, I know everybody in my chats are going to take care of their pets, but also think about older or infirm neighbors. But anyway, I'll let it continue.
Come across. Director, how are you coordinating with local and state officials? As of right now, as we're talking, there are at least 5 states of emergency. I have to imagine that number will continue to grow once the storm picks up.
Yeah, one thing about the National Weather Service that's not always known by the public is we actually deploy into the Emergency Operations Center. So you local level, federal level, state level. So we're doing briefings, impact-based decision support. So we're briefing those officials, the elected officials. We're briefing the emergency managers at these levels so they can help them make the decisions. Because, I mean, these decisions are not easy to make when it comes to resources, evacuations, school that come into play with these winter weather events. So that's what we do. So we're behind the scenes. It's not just what you see in the forecast and the warnings, but we're literally eye to eye. We're a very nimble, flexible, mobile agency. We're right eye to eye with those decision makers, really letting them know this is what's going to happen, this is the timing, when it's going to start, when it's going to end, and it helps them make those big decisions.
It does, and it gives people ease, right, as they prepare for this and they get ready to hunker down and know that they've got people that have their back. Director, you talked a little bit about travel. I want to pick your brain a little more on that because I'm sure the FAA, looking at this storm coming in, this massive domino effect of cancellations, how does NOAA, the National Weather Service, kind of work there with those partners and the team?
Yeah, another aspect of the National Weather Service that's not widely known, we're literally embedded with the FAA. So they're really at their areas that they start looking at the route forecasts, like keeping planes out of the turbulence, keeping them out of the icing, and also at the airports themselves, working with the FAA. So we're literally co-located with the FAA, giving them minute-to-minute updates on the weather forecasts and the current conditions to help make these tough decisions. So the airlines listen to those briefings. We get them ready. Our Center Weather Service units across the country, I'm so proud of them as well. So a big aspect of this is travel. Air travel is going to have a rough time. I mean, if you think about this size of storm, you think about the impacts, there'll be significant delays and a real tough time when it comes to travel, not just on the ground, but also in the air. So proud of this team. We're literally co-located with them, given the information they need to make tough decisions too.
Thousands of meteorologists working together to nail down the impact of this storm and make sure that the millions of Americans impacted are safe as it begins to move in. Director, if you have just one message to folks at home, whether it be in the plains, the southeast, the northeast, what would you say to them as we get ready for the weekend to start?
I think to prepare now. I mean, if you think about, you think about planning to get. I was listening to your broadcast before we went on the air here. I mean, getting your supplies, having what you need to get through this storm. You need to have everything.
Because if you think about power.
I'm going to interrupt. If you don't have it on hand, get you some canisters of salt, regular salt, Morton salt, or whatever salt. And you'll be surprised. You put a little bit of that on your steps, on your porch after you get the snow cleared. It'll eat that ice right up. And it is a lot better for your pets, their paws, because it's real salt. You don't have to use a ton of it. And you can put a little bit of salt in the drains, in your shower drains or your tub drains, to keep them from freezing. I've seen that happen, because there's talking about negative temperatures in a lot of states that don't normally see single digits. They're talking negative 9 degrees, minus 8, 9 degrees. So yeah, a little bit of salt. And if you have a fireplace, I keep ashes. You sprinkle ashes out there, and that will accelerate melting of snow. But anyway, I'll let it keep going.
Power outages, you think about the cold, you need to be prepared to have what you need for a week. And I want to really hit this hard. I've been hitting this all day with every media outlet. You know, I saw this at the Hurricane Center when I was director, the usage of generators. When the power goes out, a lot of people have generators. I just beg everybody, please use them correctly.
Mm-hmm.
We lose a lot of people due to improper use of generators. Keep them out of the house, keep them far away from the house. They're fine to use, but use them properly, because they can be dangerous if you don't.
It is. It's safety. And I think for a lot of, the southern states on the eastern seaboard, the Gulf Coast, I kept thinking it's almost like a lot about hurricane season, but it's now January. So some of the same things that you would do to prepare for a storm like that, you can apply to a winter storm of this magnitude. But of course, just doing what you can now to stay safe. Appreciate your time. Director Ken Graham with the National Weather Service, thank you for coming on to Fox Weather.
You're welcome.
Okay, so yeah, I got to get my generator ready to go. But if you got an alternate way of cooking, a propane camp stove, and that'll help you with your heat. And I know a lot of you all thinking like I'm thinking. Remember when Texas had that sudden freeze some years back? Is this some manipulation going on with these southern states getting it so bad? How many of you all heard about this situation? What do you think is going to happen here? This is Caitlin Bennett with Liberty Hangout. They said she got arrested. I think she just got a ticket. But she was down there interviewing lefties, and they wanted her to leave. And she was on federal property. So, I don't know. Tell me what your opinion of this situation is.
You probably might go to jail.
I'm gonna go to jail.
Possibly.
She's literally asking the police to remove me from public property.
All right, you guys need to move.
Why?
Over here, First Amendment area.
What does the permit do?
Time to leave.
I want my rights to be respected. I'm allowed to be on public property.
Here is our First Amendment area, number 5,
for
small groups and counter protesters.
Yeah.
You're a small group.
No, I'm not.
And you're a counter protester.
I'm media.
Are you here with this group?
I'm here with media.
You need to move.
They're thanking them for writing me
Let's
a ticket.
Go. You're being detained for a ticket. Over here. Let's go. You're on federal land. I'm a federal officer.
Yes, great.
So you're getting a federal ticket.
Okay, great. I can't wait to fight this. The liberals here in St. Augustine, Florida, are cheering because this guy is trying to kick me off of public property.
No. You get to stand here.
No.
On federal public property.
Public. You notice you said public? You don't get to tell me which public property I can be at.
I'm with the National Park Service.
Yeah. Tell me how this is private
First
property.
Amendment area. I'm sorry that you don't know the rules and regulations. I'm sorry.
Oh man, this is gonna be good.
Do you have anything with your ID on?
No.
Okay, get your mic out of my face.
I'm allowed to do this. This is my first.
You're not allowed to stick your mic in my face. So step back and get it out of my face.
So here's the thing. I am on public property. He just admitted I was on public property. This is not permitted to turn this space into private property. You guys cannot do this. We have been over this in Florida with 3 different police departments. 3. I love
content for you.
Did you say more content for me? Thank you.
Disobeying a lawful order is your ticket.
What lawful order was that?
I directed you to go from there
Yeah.
to here.
Yeah. And you think that was lawful?
And you refused my lawful order.
Yeah, so that was lawful, huh?
So this is United States District Court violation notice. It's a $500 forfeiture, $30 processing fee.
Very cool.
Total collateral is $530.
What was the lawful order that you just...
He didn't tell me.
He didn't tell you?
Yeah, that's a good question. There's a local journalist here. Actually, why don't you go ask him? You're a journalist. Go ask him. Go ask him. So you asked what lawful order I disobeyed.
And he couldn't tell me, he said.
I don't think it was staged because he really got upset. If y'all watch him, he got, get that microphone out of my face. And the way his voice was trembling, he was downright angry. He was downright angry. Wow, -10, sissy. Wow. Yeah. Skin freezes up quick. Long Johns. You need Long Johns. What's this video about? Let me see. What do we got here? Oh, here's the one. This one got arrested. This was hours before she got arrested. She was on CNN. And it says underneath, arrest coming. Here's her. I guess they got bailed out. I would like to them arrest them at night, and they got to sit in jail all night till the judge shows up.
I do want to correct something that was said in the beginning. We did not rush into that church. We actually went and sat down and participated in the service. And after the pastor prayed, that is when I stood up and asked him a question in response to his prayer. And then he responded to me. And then I proceeded to ask him about Pastor David Easterwood and how is it possible for him to serve as both the pastor and the director of ICE for Minnesota. And instead of responding to me, as soon as I said the name David Easterwood, the pastor says, shame, shame. And that is when I led us in chants, justice for Renee Good and hands up, don't shoot. So I want to clarify that. We didn't rush in. We didn't bust in. We were a part of the service until I got up and posed that question to the pastor.
All right. And obviously, I'm not going to dispute your saying what happened. I'm merely describing how CNN is describing it. I obviously wasn't in the room. But that moment that you're talking about, and obviously the way you lay it out could dramatically.
Yeah, you hear her tell it. It was all peaceful. We were there just listening to the preacher, and then they started yelling at us, so we started yelling back. So talk about phony. That's phony. Was that Colette? Baby nurse, bought me a beer. Boom. I mean, coffee. I'm thinking beer. Pow. I'm putting a pows in the video for baby nurse buying me a coffee. I do appreciate it very much. Yeah, she's lying, and she's lying her rear end off. Tell it to the judge. Here you go. Here's something for you, MetaPage. I bet purchasing Greenland is still cheaper than funding daycare centers in Minneapolis. I don't know. Her other cases, were they Were they state charges or, state court or federal court? Is there a difference? I'm asking for a friend. With Caitlin. I don't know. What's this one here? I didn't get the video of this one, but... Oh, I think I did. Maxwell Frost. You are an American regardless of what your legal status is. Who the hell is Maxwell? Got TPS for Haiti. They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats. Instead of just being thankful he's in the country he's in, he's got to work to undermine by bringing in people from Haiti. I mean,
the reason I released the video last week, informing my constituents about increased ICE presence in Orlando, where there's a huge Haitian diaspora. We're very worried about the targeting of our Haitian brothers, sisters, and siblings across the entire country. And us as a community, we have to band together to protect Americans. And you're an American regardless of what your legal status is.
Where did you go to school? Where did you go to school, bonehead? Crazy. Who's the next one that's looking at charges? Who's getting puckered, as I say? Gavin Newsom. Gavin Newsom. Scott Bessent is sending emissaries or going personally to his state. Ha, Miss Menderson put some booms in. I do appreciate it. The Leering Center, yeah. I'm just looking through the chats. Anyway, but here is Stephen A. Smith commenting on Gavin Newsom. You know, back in the day, especially during Reagan's term, anybody that criticized a president while he was overseas, that was greatly frowned upon. I know no news services did it, but they didn't post other people talking bad about the president of the United States when they were overseas. Now, the news organizations themselves do it. But anyway, I want to play you all Stephen A. Smith's opinion of Gavin Newsom talking. He is rearranging the world order for the benefit of making America great again. So I hope you all enjoy this video. And I appreciate everybody who went by Buy Me a Coffee to help out the channel. To close out the broadcast, I'm putting another link in the description. It works after the live broadcast. If you're watching, you can go to the link in the chats and pay me a visit at Buy Me a Coffee. As always, folks, I thank you for spending your precious time with me. And I hope you all enjoy this video and be safe through this storm. We will get together tomorrow night, God willing. I hope so. So anyway, I hope you all take care of yourselves. Think about your good friends. Think about your elderly neighbors. And I will be seeing you soon. This is Mountain Man, over and out.
Gavin Newsom. Respectfully, what are you doing? You're the governor of the state of California in the United States of America. Why are you talking to folks and speaking negatively about the president of the United States? With Gavin Newsom being candid and open about his feelings about our president on United States soil. To go over to another country, Switzerland, to go over there and to be in the presence of other European leaders speaking against the President of the United States. I'm not down with that. Y'all might be, I'm not down with that at all. Say whatever you want here. As a governor from the opposite side of the aisle of a state in the United States on American soil, fine. But I'm one of those people, when we go somewhere else, it's America first. You know, our problems, our problems. But we ain't taking dirty laundry outside. You don't go on a world stage to disrespect your own house, which is the United States of America. I don't like that at all. Not even a